Hi, I'm Ace8.
This is me adding a line of sight system to a Godot stealth game. The line of sight system I'm working on here, and that I'm planning to sell via itch.io and a few other places, is based on that from Thief, Thief 2, similar games. Line of sight is affected by lighting, and the entire thing uses Godot's physics engine, trigger areas and raycasts. What I have here is a scene filled with buildings. These are not my buildings. There will be a link in the description to where I got them. There is also a directional light. I've just called this the sun. Doesn't matter where it is, just that it points some direction and you don't change it around too often. So I suppose I'll go over the player character then, which I've already created this in the scene here, so I might as well go show you it. It's literally just a bog standard character controller. I have had the ability to lean, crouch, jump, whatever. The key things for the lighting side are this ability to assign the sun and toggle whether or not we're in the shade by default. I'm going to skip over this is in shade part here because that's going to come up later. Key thing is that the way the sun works is it applies a flat value to our character's illumination. If you're in the sun, just it goes up by 40%, in this case 40%, regardless of what it was before. The other thing about the player is they have this radius toggler 3D area. Now what this basically does is if we enter an area, a light radius or line of sight enters this area, it turns on, leaves, turns off. The idea here is that if they leave this area, they're far enough away from the player that there's no point in them checking if they can see the player. Now, the size of this will be up to you. I'm using a 50-meter sphere just for demonstration purposes here. Moving on to adding lights. This is a 4-step process, but you only have to do it once. First thing I'm going to do is where did I put this light? I did create this as a prop. I'm actually going to go and just do it the old way here. Now where is it? Yeah, here. So this is just something I put together in Blender. It's nothing fancy. They're just going to put it here, then add a light underneath it. In this case, it's a spotlight that points directly downwards. So. And change this a bit to there. Shadow, we'll leave that for now. Tell if I should probably put it underneath that, to be honest. So yeah, you can just see it there. So the way before I do that, let me add the where is this template light radius. So I'll be providing template scenes, and what these literally do are just create the light radius area, detection rate, timer, all the stuff that's required, except for the collision area, which in this case is something you'll have to add yourself because I can't predict where you're going, what kind of areas you're going to go for. Now for this, I'm just going to go with a cylinder. It's quick, efficient, cheap. Doesn't cost too much, especially at scale. And adjust this to meet the. Yeah, that looks about right. That doesn't need to be that quite so high, but yeah, that's good enough. It would help if maybe this was actually pointing, not clipping through the floor or something. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Not hovering in air, I mean. So this light radius defines an area in which light will detect the player or an NPC. I'll use the player for now. And how it does that depends on the type of light. For spotlights like this, there's no intensity fall off. You stand anywhere in this, you're going to get spotted. Whereas for point lights, and I will come back to that later, it's inversely proportional to distance. Does kind of make sense, though this isn't a physically accurate system. It's more of an abstraction. Now, I'm going to turn off this account for cover thing here because what this does is Lighting and line of sight both use raycast to check if they can see something. In this case, I'm assuming that this spotlight, this street lamp here, doesn't have to worry about cover or line of sight to anything. So for the sake of simplicity, you can basically turn that off. It's more of a performance saving thing. Let's see, where was I going next? Yeah, so a couple of things we do need to configure, like whether or not we account for cover, the cycle time. This works on a timer instead of running every frame or something like that. By default, it's every half a second. You can go from 0.1 to 1 to 2. And this auto start timer, that's purely if you're not using a radius toggle, which I currently am. And this light is done, so I'm going to add another street lamp, one which does have to account for cover. So I'm literally just going to duplicate this entire street lamp here. That's literally all you do. It took us less than 2 minutes to create this. Now to put this here. And I'm just going to increase the collision shape here, just to demonstrate this. And where are you? There we are. And then I'm going to create something else for a point lamp. I could use the same model. I'm just not going to. So if you will, you can think of this as something that casts in all directions, and this one will account for cover as well. Oh wait, it's Omnilight 3D. There we go. I'm not going to bother baking lighting or doing anything like that for now. It's just not necessary. Let's see, collision area, collision shape. Now for these point lights, I'm just going to go with spheres. Again, they're quick enough. And the radius of this thing is, let's see, 5. So increase the radius of this to 5. Basically, as soon as I step into this area, it'll start applying light and it'll be more intense the closer I get. And, you know, may as well show that now. Building project. This always takes forever. So you can see it says we have 40% lighting just because we're not in the shade, so to speak. If I stand here in this one, it goes up to full instantly. You see this one is starting to get more brighter as I get closer to it. This one, should be in the area now. Yeah, just getting the collisions to work is always going to be the trickiest part of this. That's the basics for lighting. Now to add basic NPC just to test this. This is going to do nothing but look at the player and say, oh, I can see you. So I'm just going to use a breaker node 3D here. I am going to provide a basic one that'll implement this. In fact, I may as well just show you that now. Where is it? Demo brain. Yeah. Implements I receive LOS. That's literally it. Literally, the only thing you really need to do is to find these, and then where is it? yeah, a single line here to tell the brain that this is the line of sight, that this class is its brain. And in order to do that, I am going to need to add now this NPC is just going to sit there and do nothing, so a little box should be good enough. And instantiate the line of sight 3D class. Again, it works pretty much the same way. We've got a detection cycle timer, auto timer. This detection increment is how quickly it increases each cycle. Investigation threshold is at what point it should tell the brain, hang on, there's something over here. And minimum light level is, well, how bright your surroundings have to be before you can be spotted, before it can actually see what I mean. So basically, you could scroll this all the way up to 1, so they have severe night blindness. Wouldn't see me unless I'm standing in, say, one of these lights here, or whatever have you. Or you could put it all the way down to 0 to basically disable that entirely, which kind of defeats the entire point of using this. And investigation threshold, you can lower this to 0, so that instantly see you, they'll start investigating. Or up to 100, they just don't care. Cycle timer, again, this configures how quickly it goes, ranges from 0.1 to 2, or how frequently it happens. If you increase this, you should also increase this to match. I put what I think are a sane range. You'll be able to configure that yourself if you want. And I also need a collision shape under this. Now for this collision shape, for this testing here, I'm just going to use a sphere. I know it's not completely accurate, but it's good enough. So it'll be able to see me right here, even if it does nothing. And this demo NPC is these. Oh noes, I can't see the player. Time to get on with this. Oh noes, I can't see the player now. Right, you can see now that they are starting or activated. So there's probably just some collision things I need to sort out. Okay, finally started. Yeah, getting the line of sight out. Biggest problem with this is just going to be getting collisions to trigger reliably. That's always a problem with this sort of thing. Action ray wants to collide with bodies, not areas. There's probably just some silly things like layers. Like I've started adding this layer, the collision layer 2 for scenery objects. It might just mean something as dumb as that. Let's just try this again to make sure. but you would have to just change that in one class and that would be it. Yeah, this sort of thing you pretty much have to adjust this to suit your needs, but that's the core of it. I suppose I'm going to just quickly touch on shade areas again because I skipped over them. Where did I put it? Not sure, I'll put this under here. No, don't need that. I don't have a template for this because it's literally just an area 3D with collision areas, and this has just shade area 3D. Now, you will have to manually place these in the scene because again, I can't predict where everything is going to be. But that would only really need to happen once. And in this case, I'm just going to change this to, let's see, 10, 30. I'm just going to do this box here. I'm not going to bother doing this area here because it would be a bit fiddly to keep doing that bit and that bit while ignoring that bit. And to be honest, with this light, with these lights here, it doesn't really make any difference. You wouldn't be noticing it anyway. So now I should be within the shade. Yep. Even if there's technically not a shadow here. It's probably because there's some scenery thing I forgot to change. So now I'm technically in the shade, but still standing under a very bright street light. Again, this is getting closer. Now back to 0, and because I've exited this shade area, I now have a flat 40% lighting. So yeah, that is the current state of this. Again, I do need to fix the detection, but that's just part and parcel of this sort of thing. You can also check that by just going into, where is it, debug and visible collision shapes. It'll show this sort of thing. So while I'm at it, these boundaries are basically meant to be hidden. So where did I put this? Oh yeah, these are showing up here, but they're basically configured to not show up on the player camera because they're more for debugging, that sort of thing. So I'm just going to very quickly move this around so that it's kind of plausible that we're in the shade here. And ignore the occlusion culling, that's just testing. I suppose the key thing to note is that this lighting system, it's not really based on on the actual base lighting. It's completely independent. So yeah, the line of sight here is aimed a little too low. That's probably just a positioning thing. Let's check this. Yeah, it can still see me. So let me just move that over a second. Put it there. Yeah, that looks good. And I'm just going to increase the collision radius on this again. Basically, if I'm standing here, flat up against this wall, it shouldn't be able to see me. And this demo NPC, I'm going to move the line of sight up a meter. I know it's not entirely accurate, but this is just for demo purposes. Okay, you can probably see me now. Yeah, you can see the ray from this light is crashing into this building. Now we can see me. Alright, so that is it. Haven't decided where I'm going to upload this aside from maybe itch.io or possibly Ko-fi, Patreon. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, haven't nailed down the price on this yet, but it will be on a pay what you want basis with a minimum level. Anyway, that's going to be it from now, and I'll see you in the next one, whatever that is. Bye for now.